Hello everyone, Duchess here, and I'm back with the results of the ironing board cabinet. And as you can see, the pieces are markedly different from my original posting. I was able to remove all that old white latex paint from the pieces, and I couldn't be happier with the results. And I'll get a little closer so you can see the beautiful grain marks in the cabinet door. And I have to say that this came out just beautiful. I started this process on August 8th and completed it on August 21st. And in the completion of this portion of my project, I had to do two things. I had to go back in with some additional citrus strip to apply to different portions of the cabinet and the door because the paint was a little tougher to come off than in other areas. The person who previously owned this ironing board cabinet did a rather sloppy job at the paintwork. So the paint was on the inside of the cabinet, it was on the ironing board itself, even some on the sleeve. As you know, there is a sleeve that also is in this cabinet. It was on all over the front and the back of the cabinet door and the side panel. But I was able to go in and to remove all that paint and follow it up with some mineral spirits, which lifted up much of the paint that had been embedded in the wood. Now, given that this piece is a vintage piece and it is some 70 years old, that paint had plenty of time to settle in the wood, so it was going to take a little bit more effort on my part to remove it, and I was able to get that accomplished. The second thing I did was to remove this panel, the bottom panel, from the cabinet. And I was on the fence at first on whether I wanted to do this or not, and I finally decided to go ahead and remove it because the piece is a little bit rotted and it's broken and cracked. So I'm going to take that into the lumber store and have them make a duplicate copy, and then I will install it on the bottom of the cabinet. The second thing that I did was I sketched out a portion of the part, actually it was the piece that goes on top of the cabinet, and if you saw in my first video when I received the ironing board cabinet, that piece was missing. So I laid the cabinet and the cabinet door and the side panel down on the floor, and then I sketched out the part that I would need. So when I take this into the lumber store, they will be able to duplicate that piece. And as you can see at the top, I've written need this section. So this will be helpful for them, and they will also have photos of the cabinet, so they'll be able to get as close, if not better, with the type of wood that I'm going to need to replace the top of the cabinet here, the door of the cabinet, excuse me, and then down on the bottom here. So the next process right after those pieces are installed, I'm going to attach the side panel here back onto the cabinet door with the hinges and screws. And there was quite a bit of paint all over the hinges and screws, but that's another story for another day. But it took some time to clean those things up, and I also had lots of paint all over the knob too, so I was able to get that all removed, and everything is polished up really nice, and it's going to look really great when I reinstall everything. But once I install these pieces together, I'm going to apply it to the cabinet, and then it will go into my sewing and sitting room. So I'm pretty excited about this, but I wanted to come back to you with another video on this, and this has been a really neat summer project. This is my second one, and so I'm really happy with the results, and I am just looking forward to using this for years to come. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.